Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News. After many criticisms of evil geniuses so far for their performances in the Americas, it seems a change is brewing. BcJ, arguably the best player on this team right now, is going to get benched from the starting roster. Demon 1 is coming in. Jorgamo and Com, their spots are safer now. What is going on? Why they're making this change? And it seems all of their fans are going to be quickly out the door if this continues shortly on. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. I will say there was a response yesterday from George Geddes to all the drama and the allegations that we saw yesterday. He, well, these are the tweet threads that he kind of comes out with. He screenshots the part where he calls, or where she says that he called her a disgusting whelp. Now, that is, related to the meme with T-Dog and whatever the meme was that was going around a couple of months ago now. So he was kind of surprised that maybe she didn't kind of pick up on that whole thing. And he goes on to say, for what it's worth, it's harmless flirting which she entertains. She likes to leave it out because it harms her narrative. She said, and I quote, "It made me smile when I said what I said. What if I did hit is another thing," she said. "Is this not entertaining it? This one-sided narrative BS is exactly that, straight BS, pathetic attempt at a cancellation." And, this meme that we put at the end of yesterday's video comes for George here. So, see you with the next roster move, and we're going to discuss that exactly in a few seconds. So, that was George's response. Of course, there were other girls saying other things and lots of discussion on it from multiple different parties, but there's been no other screenshots and proof from any other side or any other further allegations. So, I guess we'll just leave it there. And it's just one of these things on the internet where things happen and then they pass very quickly. And then within a few weeks, everyone seems to forget. Obviously, I'll keep you guys updated if there's any further developments. Quickly on version 1 as well, they took down, as expected, Shopify Rebellion yesterday 3-0. I believe they even said, the coach Dephh said that this is one of the worst series they played in some time. He reckons it was their worst level they played really FEs. But still, they 3-0'd them right. That just shows how good this team is right now. And that's a 3-0 victory in the grand finals. It was not exactly dominant, but okay, 3-0 is pretty dominant at the end of the day. 13-10, 13-7, 13-6. And version 1 reckon they didn't even play particularly well. So that's quite scary. But these were the final scoreboards, of course. Sonda, after all the talk of the previous day, couldn't quite deliver in the grand finals, but the expected result happened. Fluorescent on top, as is usually the case for this roster. And maybe version 1 game changers can actually teach a thing or two to Karmine Corp on how to play some good Valorant, because this, again, was not pretty. It started off entertaining, right? Like, they're so bad that it's funny. Now it's just kind of sad, like, watching these theoretically great players just really struggle here. And, I don't even know what to say anymore. This Karmine Corp series was tragic. And, look, this was one of the highlights. Here's Navera with an op with Omen. I don't really get what's going on. They've just sent him out there on the Omen to challenge in. Scream was on the Jet. He was back on the Duelist, which theoretically should be fine, but it wasn't really working. Newzera had, like, no kills at all. We'll see that in a second. So, yeah, man, it's just funny. Every single highlight you see from Karmine Corp, they're already down like 7-1, which is just how things go. And then game 2, despite already being down 1-0 in the series, and okay, fair play, they got a nice little comeback moment here, but again, right, they got a nice little highlight, and they're down 11-1 after the first half. It's just like the way they play, that lack of trading at times is just embarrassing. And Scream comments on it afterwards, says, like, an awful level from us. We just can't show up on match days, get caught by basic stuff. Sorry about that. And going back to Duelist doesn't change much to the score. It has never been the real issue. We have a hard time avoiding solo mistakes, and it feels like we didn't even play at all for the last 3 games. And it must be painful being a Karmine Corp fan, if you are one, just witnessing the fact that this team is not working, it's not gonna work, and that you're just gonna have to suffer through this for the next couple of months because the team isn't allowed to make any changes. Let's just look at the numbers here. Newzera 6-24. This guy, I know that there was some promise about him, but frankly, it hasn't been impressive, has it, since he's joined the team. 6 kills over 2 maps. Ascenti had 3. 3-11 on the Sky. That was 13-2. And then 13-6 in fairness on the split. They did feign a bit of a comeback at the start of that second half. But, 11-1 down. Like, there was no way they were going to make it happen. And again, Newzera's got 3 kills. So, not pretty at all. That's just how Karmine Corp are going lately, unfortunately. But they did somehow get a win, right? The first series they played was against BBL and they won that one. Since then, they've averaged, 3 rounds a map or something? I don't know what their average is. It's got to to be 3 to 4 rounds a map over the last few matches they've played. They've lost to everyone and, you know, in embarrassing fashion, frankly. So look, Karmine Corp versus Evil Geniuses, bit of a meme going around the other day, but certainly relevant today given what we're going to discuss with EG here in a second. These are the present standings then in Europe as well. Fnatic topping up, Karmine Corp 1 in 3, and, you know, their season is basically over already, to be honest. Also wanted to share, though, from Steel, his thoughts on who their new player is going to be. Now, we know that Ye joined DSG the other day. We saw yesterday they dropped Dephh from the team. Surprisingly so, I would say. I wasn't expecting if they were going to make a further move that Dephh was going to be the one to go. And Steel is clearly baiting around here a little bit, right? He talks about how, well, the new player we're bringing in, I'm super shocked that we would ever drop Dephh for this guy. Dephh was a huge part of their Challengers run, which is absolutely true, even getting them to that point. But the way Steel says this, right, he knows who their new player is going to be. And, you know, I don't know. Obviously, he's joking around, but it seems to me that he's quite quietly optimistic as to whatever player they do bring in here and who it could possibly be might be the man to take them to the next level. I know there's been also discussion about Thwyfo, formerly or recently released from NRG, as a possible candidate here as one of the best in his role for this DSG roster. So just wanted to think about.
You like my title? Is Rika replacing Dephh? I can't say what's happening. I can't say what's happening because I don't know what's happening. I just logged on one day and they said, yo, we're making another change. I said, what? Okay, is it me? They said, no. I said, okay, well, who is it? They said, it's Dephh. I'm like, why? They're like, we can't tell you. That's like top secret. It's classified. I'm like, okay. I said, who are we getting? They said, don't worry about it. I said, okay, well, as long as they're good. Like, I don't. And then they told me. And then I could not believe my ears when they told me who is replacing Dephh. And I'm like, this is unreal. This is unreal that you dropped Dephh for this guy. Unbelievable that you guys would do this. Dephh. We wouldn't be in Challengers without him. And we get...
The harbor wall would be...
Never mind, I can't even say it.
Back off.
Yeah, they are in.
Speaking of weird rostermania situations, though, we've got to discuss BcJ and Evil Geniuses. We saw in their last game, the most recent game they played, he was subbed out on map 2, I believe, for Demon 1. And we thought, okay, maybe that's just a short-term thing where they're just, you know, 6-man roster type situation. Demon 1, talented player. I believe he was actually playing for DSG, or was he not, or trialing for DSG during the off-season. And then EG came in and snapped him up to their roster after, I believe, DSG scrimmed EG. And EG was like, damn, this guy's good, we're going to get him. And just poached him from DSG right under their nose. And Toaster, understandably, wasn't so happy about that. He's a talented player and I think deserves a spot on their starting team. But I'm very surprised why BcJ is the man to go. Because we heard rumours the other day that indeed BcJ was not practicing with the roster behind the scenes. We thought, okay, is that just a 6-man team thing that they're trialing him on different maps? Demon 1 for BcJ. Don't really see how that makes much sense. But George Geddes says, yeah, BcJ is expected to be benched for this week's game. Demon 1 is coming in instead. And then even BcJ tweets this out. It is, you know, so it is. So pretty much confirming that, you know, he's gone from the roster for now, probably got benched from the team. Why is this the case? Why would they do this change? Especially because when you look at, you know, the other candidates on the roster to get benched, I would have thought that BcJ is certainly not the first one. I'd say BcJ is one of their best, if not straight up their best player, but he hasn't even really been playing his, you know, he's usually a Sentinel, right? I feel like that's when he's at his best, but he's been forced into a different role lately, and it's kind of questionable as to why. He's been on the smokes, of course, for the team, and he's still been playing pretty well, whereas you've got guys like Com, who hasn't been particularly impressive, and even Jorgemo, I think, is better, but he's been on the duel list and hasn't been too impressive either. So I'm just confused why, if there's someone to go, why is it BcJ? And I don't really think this makes any sense. Now, I can't imagine that the team internally there and Potter are completely clueless. They must have a good reason behind this change, but it just does seem like the dots don't really connect in that way. Maybe internally the chemistry isn't there. Maybe BcJ's not happy with the way things have been developing. He's not happy with the decisions being made by the team in and out of the game, and maybe chemistry has just fallen apart to a certain degree, and BcJ's place on the roster is no longer tenable, and it makes sense for chemistry vibes perspective to bring in someone else for BcJ, which maybe is fair enough if that is indeed true. But fundamentally, you'd surely think that if your roster wants to achieve anything, you've got to bring the most talented players onto the team and then just see, try and make it work, right? Because if you drop more talented players for less talented players, or let's just say maintaining less talented players than BcJ on the starting roster, their chances to actually become a top team are less than they would be with BcJ, right? I know that many Evil Geniuses fans, okay, there aren't many Evil Geniuses fans, but those of which that there actually are in part former xSet fans who don't know where to go and wanted to follow BcJ. Getting rid of BcJ now is like if EG were getting roasted before for losing all the time and taking L's left, right, and center, they're now getting roasted even more so for just that same thing, right? They're taking more common L's than they already are and losing, all the fans that they still had. Maybe it works for them, right? But I just don't exactly see why. And I do like the Demon 1 pickup. I think it's a good idea to bring him into the team, but I just feel like BcJ out doesn't make much sense. You look at his recent performances, right? He's been playing on the Omen, on the Astra, on the, of course, the Brimstone, not the roles that he's usually been using in, but he's still dropping good numbers here, respectable performances, I thought, given the situation and given they've been getting destroyed. But typically he's on the Sova, right? That's been his role for the majority of his career on the xSet, for example, team. He was doing a great job there, hasn't been using that role, and now apparently is gone. So very intrigued to hear your thoughts on that one in the comment section below. Just to close out with, the Americas League is back officially today, and these are the games going on. So April the 15th, which is tonight, of course, Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves, and then NRG MIBR. So big game for NRG to win, but also C9 100 Thieves is going to be a fantastic one, right? We know what 100 Thieves did to EG last week, relatively comfortable victory. This is a bigger test for them against a better Cloud9 team, I believe. But I would still favour 100 Thieves to get the job done. Very much enjoyed to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.